Of course, while these modern black racists are leading the charge to make life worse for black Americans, it's still those same old white racist Democrats who benefit from the destruction. White racists like Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, who are happy to watch black people die if it means winning elections by race baiting. The Black Lives Matter movement does not fight to save black lives. Rule of law means safety for black Americans. Black Lives Matter pushes lawlessness. And the Democratic Party, beholden to its divisive sponsors, joins in the crusade for chaos and leaves dead young black men in its wake.
On guns, my next guest has strong words for me. He says I'm off the rails on guns in America. Ben Shapiro is editor-at-large at Breitbart.com and the author of Bullies, How the Left's Culture of Fear and Intimidation Silences Americans. So why am I off the rails, Mr. Shapiro?
Honestly, Piers, you've kind of been a bully on this issue because what you do, and I've seen it repeatedly on your show, I watch your show, and I've seen it repeatedly, what you tend to do is you tend to demonize people who differ from you politically by standing on the graves of the children of Sandy Hook, saying they don't seem to care enough about the dead kids. If they cared more about the dead kids, they would agree with you on policy. I think we can have a rational political conversation about balancing rights and risks and rewards of all of these different policies, but I don't think that what we need to do is demonize people on the other side as being unfeeling about what happened in Sandy Hook.
How dare you accuse me of standing on the graves of the children that died there? How dare you?
I've seen you do it repeatedly, Piers.
Like I say, how dare you?
I mean, you can keep saying that, but you've done it repeatedly.
Like a mouse!
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No,
because
it's her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Like a mouse!
Tell us. Let's just start with this, the Darfur visit, and tell the viewers who exactly Ahmed met with.
We met with Omar al-Bashir, who is the president of Sudan, as you mentioned, and who's wanted for war crimes because, of course, Darfur is the scene of some of the worst genocide in world history. And so this is not completely unexpected, given the fact that Ahmed Mohammed's dad has run twice for president of Sudan and is a very politically active guy. It's becoming clearer day after day that this was a hoax, this was a setup, and that President Obama fell for it because it confirms a couple of his pre-stated biases against police and against people who he perceives to be Islamophobic.
But wait, so because this all started with whether the police had overreacted, whether the school had overreacted, and what clearly looked like a bomb, but it was in the hands of a young man who is a Muslim, who said he was just trying to impress his science teacher, and he was placed in handcuffs, and everybody said, whoa, way to overreact and racially profile or profiling him based on his religion. But the controversy comes because A, there's questions about whether that was an overreaction because it looked like a bomb and it's supposed to have zero tolerance policies. But B, the visits he and his family paid in the days and weeks thereafter. How do they wind up meeting with a war criminal? This guy is a war criminal who's wanted. Apparently, there's actually an outstanding warrant for his arrest from the International Criminal Court for his war crimes, including beheading children in front of their parents.
That's exactly right. And the fact that Ahmed Mohammed is meeting with him, again, is due to the fact that his family is incredibly politically active. The President of the United States, it's ironic that for a guy who's constantly assuring us that cops are jumping the gun and they're shooting first and asking questions later, when it comes to the behavior of the police, the President of the United States is constantly shooting first and asking questions later. This story didn't hold water from the beginning. Within the first 48 hours, it was clear that this was a bit of a setup, and it was clear that the story didn't hold together. I mean, this
What's
clock,
your theory,
this
that
kid was
the
supposed to have
father had an
invented.
agenda? The father had an agenda and used his child to advance it?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the family history, it's pretty clear that was happening. I mean, if you look at the actual clock this kid invented, he took the guts out of an old clock. You can see people do it on YouTube. And he literally took the guts out of an old clock, the wiring, and then he put it inside a pencil box and then proceeded to bring that into school. And this is not the first family incident that has been like this. His sister had an incident in 2009 that was somewhat similar.
Well, she says that she was wrongfully, she was a victim then, too,
right,
of profiling.
Well, everybody's a victim, right? Everybody's always a victim of profiling, whatever the circumstance, and President Obama buys into it right away, no questions asked, invites kids to the White House. And then it got a little bit awkward tonight. It was unclear whether the president was going to meet with him. He sort of met with him very briefly, didn't really meet, took a photo with him in passing. And that was a bit of a downgrade from the big event, the star-studded event that we expected between the president and Ahmed Mohammed, where the president was going to knight him, give him the Order of Merit, and also declare him the greatest scientist since Isaac Newton.
Well,
like a mouse.
But today we're going to go through a lot of the terms that these folks use. And these are terms that I'm sure you've heard because you're on campus, and for people who are watching online, you may have not have heard these because you exist in the real world, where mommy and daddy don't pay the bills, and you're not paid to believe in the power of your dreams,
and no one cares about your feelings.
But children's shows are biased in a slightly more subtle way. I think that they're really biased toward a kind of self-esteem ethos. The idea that, to paraphrase Barney, everyone is special, right? An unearned self-esteem. Everyone in his or her own way.
And you're saying,
down to gender.
And you're saying that's as a result of a left-leaning bias. I thought that there are many child psychologists, regardless of political persuasion, who would say it's rather appropriate to affirm children.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of psychologists who do say that, but it definitely is a more left-leaning perspective on psychology, that self-esteem unearned is something that ought to be put upon children, especially if you look at Sesame Street. I mean, Sesame Street has been kind of the one that's drawn a lot of the fire here because people make it out like I'm trying to actually, baste Big Bird, but basically, but essentially, the Sesame Street, I interviewed one of the creators, a guy named Mike Dan, who's VP of Children's Television Network, and he actually said that the point of Sesame Street was to reach out to black and Hispanic children because, quote, there is no reading material in black households. Well, to me, I mean, that's just kind of soft bigotry of low expectations.
Like a mouse.
Okay, immoral beats ineffective in an argument any day. So when it comes to purely moral issues, social issues like abortion, to get more specific, the reality is that abortion is not a complex issue. It's a very simple issue. That's either a life or it isn't. It's that simple. If it's a life, you can't kill it. If it's not a life, you can do whatever you want. It's a kidney, right? So, and then it becomes, okay, so how do we define life? And the answer to me is you define life by the same way that you would define life if you found it on Mars, right? If you found a single-celled organism on Mars, it's a life, right? I know, as somebody who has one baby and another on the way, that what's in there is not a random piece of tissue. At the very least, even if you don't believe it's a life yet, it's certainly a potential human life. And that seems to be more valuable than your convenience. And there's something nasty and cruel and degrading about the idea that you get to decide whether something is a life or not based on whether it's convenient to you or because it's in your body.
Mutually exclusive is the idea of what he called liberating tolerance. Right? So again, these kind of keywords, liberating tolerance. What he said is that there are two types of tolerance. There is repressive tolerance, and repressive tolerance was things like free speech. How is free speech repressive? Well, free speech is just a value that's held by the patriarchy, it's just a value that's held by the powerful, and it gives the patina of legitimacy to all views, but in reality it's only forwarding one view, namely the view that freedom of speech is good. Therefore, we need to get past repressive tolerance, which gives people a feeling of freedom without actually having freedom, and we need to get to what he called liberating tolerance. And liberating tolerance, he said, would mean intolerance against movements from the right and tolerance of movements from the left. So tolerance only extended as far as his side of the political aisle, because true tolerance can only exist when there is an ideological monopoly. So, if the left, there we go. The open door to my perspective. I appreciate it. Thank you.
By clapping, you're not being tolerant either.
I think everybody on this campus should have unqualified approval of their activities. So if they decide to leave and they want to be cheered, then we should cheer them.
What you do, and I've seen you do it on the program, is you keep saying to folks that if they disagree with you politically, then somehow this is a violation of what happened in Sandy Hook. And you have yet, I'd really like to hear your policy prescriptions for what we should do about guns. Because you say that you respect the Second Amendment, and I brought this here for you so that you can read it. It's the Constitution.
Like a mouse.
Yeah, because you just don't like what we're saying.
No, see, the difference is I let you talk.
No, listen, you actually know my father, but you had the same conversations with him, and you shut him down too.
In what way have I shut you down? You've been talking for like 10 minutes here.
She's been talking, I've been talking, but you haven't actually answered her questions.
No, I did. You just don't like the answer, and I'm sorry if you don't like the answer, but tell me.
Like a mouse.
Сегодня сломался год. Hey, Sparky!
Oh man, missed it.
Meow! Coming down! Whoa! Whoa!
That's a good shot. Get it.
Here you go, Lava.
What? Bah. What? 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 What?
Yeah, he's so close to that electric.
What? 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 What?
Рыбу видно-то? И хлеб, и кота, а рыбу. Смотри, киса.
Kaiser. Smile. Show me your smile. Smile. Oh, so here.
If you got in the car, would you take him home?
Yeah.
Right, give him a kiss, mate. Aiden, give him a kiss. See if he can kiss you.
What's that baby monkey? What's that baby monkey?
Right. Oh my God!
Oh God! Oh God!
For God's sake, why did you do that?
Hey, the monkey just opened it. The monkey.
Lock the door now! Stupid idiot!
It's a